Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look here at Terra Classic, kind of taking a better, an understanding of best practice and big picture, right? That's kind of the concept, the idea. I got a lot of requests for this here recently, so I figured I'd go ahead and cover this and just make sure that you can, stay afloat in this market right now, because it is a very unique market, and we just gotta kind of recognize that, not all coins are built the same. And this is an exact example of that. Now, just before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Please understand, I've just love teaching people to trade. So if you learned something today, of course, comment below, all that good stuff, let me know. Otherwise, I also have a trading academy, community, and signal group. Link in the description below. We got a lot of new members coming over recently to kind of just learn as much as they can in a bear market. Because honestly, if you are a pro in the bear markets, then it just makes it so much easier in the bull market. Not necessarily you have to be a pro. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But the general concept is to have good practice and good risk tolerance, and those are things I like to teach. And to make sure that you survive the bear market more so, and that makes you a pro, in my opinion. And then obviously transition that into a beneficial bull market. So definitely looking forward to that. I do think that we're nearing the bottom, of course. The bottom should be in, and I think we're looking okay for Bitcoin. That's a different conversation for another day. I cover Bitcoin daily. Feel free to check that out. But take a look here at Luna. Here's what we want to do. We want to draw out some Fibonacci retracement and just kind of see how much higher it could potentially go. And oftentimes it usually matches up with a lot of the key level resistances. So if we kind of look here, we see there's resistance right at about 16,133. Okay, so right around 16,100, 16,100, 16.1 essentially. We're looking at a resistance. Okay, now that marks, it's basically the same level on Fibonacci retracement as it is the most recent high. So if the price tries to continue any higher, we could very well see a rejection there. A lot of times you'll see three white soldiers occur, which was basically an example back here where you saw three white soldiers. That's basically a candlestick pattern, and we could very well see that here if the price continues higher, right? So if it does, it'll likely reject right at that same level. Not to say it won't break through that potentially eventually, because a lot of times you can actually see a cup and handle pattern form when it comes up and does that, but we're not there yet and we can't speculate that far in advance. But for now, it would be safe to presume that 16,100 is essentially a level in which the price action could reject. All right, so just something to kind of think about there. As far as supports, I mean, we have the two moving averages below the price action. That's not super relevant. What is relevant, though, is that we're overextended on the daily. So again, three white soldiers could occur, but the last time it came up this high, it was very, very low. Obviously, it was low here recently too, but it's had enough time for the relative strength to kind of average itself out. In other words, we're overextended in the short term, so it would seem less likely for three white soldiers to play out. What we should expect, or hopefully could expect, is a consolidation at this previous resistance level here. Right here at about 13,200 would likely be a consolidation area. So the price very well may range between 13.2 and 16.1. Okay, right in that area there. There's a great chance of seeing that. Taking a look here, of course, we got a MACD convergence on the daily. No surprise there. Let's see how it looks on the 4 hour. Obviously very overextended. Same thing with the RSI as well. So, really, realistically, this shouldn't be happening as far as the price action continuing higher because it's already overextended. But what you can see happen a lot of times is that 70 on the RSI can work as a support level, and it could maintain the price action higher. So we could very well see the price kind of spike up a little bit further, but there's no doubt that this is fairly overextended in that sense. But the good news is it's not exhausted. In other words, the price action could still continue. If you take a look at TD sequential, you've got a nice little reset here up to a 5 and then back on down to a 1. So for lack of better terms, it hits a 9, consolidates, cranks up to 5, gets rejected at that key level resistance, comes back down and retests it again. Okay, so again, mostly good stuff there in that sense. The 4 hour does look healthy. We're above all the moving averages too. So all in all, this transitionary time frame is kind of telling us that there's a stronger likelihood of the price action continuing higher. Again, this doesn't always happen, but for the most part, you can see some pretty consistent behavior when those moving averages are below the price action. And of course, you have that kind of pattern that we're seeing so far. Now, what we want to look at here really quick is just quickly identify we're at a 6 right now. So hypothetically, we could see some rejection or some sideways action. The likelihood of it shooting straight up from here is pretty low, but as you can see, Luna Classic doesn't really care about that. If you take a look here, you see we hit a 9 previously, and then 3 hours later hit its most recent high. So again, very cool in that sense, but also overextended, had to come back down, get a reset, and now it's trying to come back up again. So hypothetically, the price could increase for another 3 more hours. but it would make a lot more sense and be most beneficial if the price were to consolidate right around 13.2. Okay, that'd be awesome to have that happen. Taking a look at the cloud, we can see here that basically telling us if you have a long position, you may want to consider taking some profits or closing it based on the fact that the lagging spend is intersecting with the price action soon, basically telling us that momentum is dissipating. Same thing here with the baseline being above the actual conversion line. That's typically not a good sign either. Okay, so again, even though we're above the cloud, which is typically a good strong support level, we do not have much more momentum to continue to progress higher. At least based on this time frame, that's what it's telling us. The 4-hour is kind of telling us a different story where we have more room for growth, but the hourly is kind of telling us that we're almost already finished with that push, right? So it'd make more sense for the price action to consolidate right at 13.2 and then potentially progress higher to that 16.1 range once it gains a little bit more volume, okay? Let's take a quick peek at the volume before we call it a day here. Kind of see where the most volume is accumulated. That's tremendously lower than the current price action. But if we zoom in a little closer here, we can kind of see that obviously it's got a big foundation here right around 10,000. So if the price were to retrace, that would be a key level support. Again, that's far ways off. The likelihood that's fairly low just based on its overall momentum and how strong these candlesticks are looking. It definitely looks like it wants to stick around. So I'm venturing to guess 13.2 essentially should be a key level support. If we lose that, obviously there could be a range of somewhere in the 0.5 is a common characteristic for retracement to come down halfway of your original starting point. So right there at 11,500 to 11.5 could be the secondary support if we lose 13.2. But a closure today above 13.2 would be very beneficial and helpful in the overall sense of things. Okay, so again, Luna Classic, Terra Luna, whatever you want to call it, it's doing very well in the overall sense of things, and that is definitely a nice sentiment compared to the rest of the market. I mean, look at this redness, man. It's just terrible, terrible day for Bitcoin and many other altcoins. So it's nice to have a win for a change, right? So I hope that you are winning and continue to do so. And if you want to win more, of course, or just become a better trader in general, CryptoCache.tech is a website, link in the description below. I do look forward to working with you, and I hope that you, once again, have learned something here today. And just some parting words here, just so you understand too. I would definitely recommend, with whatever coin you're trading, you use proper risk tolerance and good risk management. In other words, don't use a crazy amount of leverage. If you were to use a smaller balance, and make sure that you're careful and cautious with your entries, and you respect the stop loss if you have one. I recommend trailing stop losses. They're very beneficial. I use that in my trading signals that I send out for my community, and it really works out very well. It just triggers as soon as you hit your targets, and then of course it'll move your stop loss to break even, and it'll continue to move it higher as you hit your targets. So it's a really cool way to secure profits, and again, it's all about survival right now, and we'll thrive much later when the bull market comes back. For now, I thank you so much for joining me here. Once again, have yourself a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.